He said I was nothing without him, that I'd beg on my knees the day he left. But when he got fired, and I emptied his account, the silence he left behind was the sweetest sound I'd ever heard. For most people, marriage begins with love, hope, and dreams of a shared future. Mine started with control, manipulation, and an endless list of rules. Mark was charming, the kind of man who knew exactly how to present himself in public. At parties, he was attentive. At work events, he praised me like I was the reason he breathed. But behind closed doors, I was a shadow of myself. He'd criticize the way I dressed, the meals I made, how I walked, how I talked. Every compliment in public was a weapon in private. "You're lucky I married you," he once said while sipping scotch. "No one else would put up with you." At first, I believed him. I thought maybe I was flawed, maybe love was supposed to feel like constant fear of not being enough. He controlled everything, the finances, the calendar, my time, my friends. My parents lived 3 states away, and he made sure our visits were rare. "They never liked me anyway," he'd argue. Why waste the gas? The one thing he didn't control, though, was my mind. Not entirely. I started journaling every day, hiding it beneath the floorboard in the guest bedroom. Every insult, every manipulation, every time he locked me out for forgetting to turn off the lights, I wrote it all down. Not for the courts. Not even for revenge. I wrote it to remind myself, this is not love. Then came the turning point, the day he got promoted. His ego bloated beyond recognition. He barely came home. And when he did, he'd toss his briefcase on the counter and say, "What did you do all day? Must be nice living off my success." I smiled. Nodded. Cooked. Cleaned. And stayed quiet. But inside, I was studying. Secretly taking online courses. Quietly building a portfolio. I used his long absences to my advantage. I applied for remote jobs. Got hired. Started saving in an account he didn't know existed. He never noticed. Why would he? I was nothing, remember? One evening, he came home drunk, angrier than usual. "You think you're smart? Think you can survive without me?" I stayed silent. "You're nothing without me," he hissed. "I made you. I can break you." I nodded like always. Smiled like always. And that night, I made my final move. I logged into the joint account, the one he used for everything. Transferred every cent to my hidden savings. Packed my essentials. Left my wedding ring on the counter. And I walked away. The next morning, I got a single call. "Where the hell is everything? Did you take the money? You stupid." Block. No explanations. No guilt. Just freedom. Small orange diamond. I was folding laundry when I heard the front door slam. Footsteps thundered across the floor, and seconds later, Tyler burst into the bedroom, red-faced, breath ragged, eyes wild. "They fired me," he shouted. "Those ungrateful bastards fired me." I blinked, stunned. Not because I was shocked, I wasn't. Because deep down, I'd been expecting this day. Tyler had been coasting for months. Showing up late, skipping deadlines, treating his staff like garbage. He thought he was untouchable. How? I asked calmly. Budget cuts. Politics. Jealousy, he snapped, pacing the room. It's a damn conspiracy. They're nothing without me. I didn't argue. Because arguing with Tyler was like throwing stones at a hurricane. Instead, I nodded, said I'd make him coffee, and walked into the kitchen. But I didn't make coffee. I picked up my phone and texted the realtor. We're ready. Final transfer today. Yes, we. Me and the woman Tyler didn't know existed. Flashback, 3 months earlier. I had opened our shared account to transfer money for groceries. That's when I saw it. Over $40,000 was missing. No explanation. No receipts. Just gone. When I confronted Tyler, he laughed in my face. You don't need to know what I do with my money. Our money. No. I make it. You spend it. That's how this works. Something broke inside me that day. I wasn't just hurt, I was done. That night, I opened a secret account. Started transferring small amounts. Began freelancing quietly again. Built a quiet escape plan, piece by piece. And now, the timing was perfect. Back in the bedroom, Tyler was ranting on the phone to a friend. I could hear him blaming the economy, his boss, the woke HR crowd. But the truth? The truth was sitting in my inbox. An anonymous email from one of his coworkers, sent 2 weeks ago. Your husband is not who you think he is. He's cheated the company, emotionally harassed interns, and covered up complaints. HR is finally taking him down. They weren't wrong. I watched Tyler spiral for the rest of the day. He drank. He shouted at the news. He threw his work laptop into the fireplace. And I waited. Waited for nightfall. Waited for him to pass out. Waited to do what I'd been planning for months. At midnight, I quietly packed one suitcase. I logged into our joint account. The one he always said I was too dumb to understand. And I transferred everything. Every dollar. Even the secret savings account he didn't think I knew about. By 1 a.m., I was gone. Small orange diamond. By morning, I was 3 states away. I checked into a small Airbnb, paid for 6 months up front. No one knew where I was. Not even my sister. I needed space to breathe. My phone buzzed nonstop. 28 missed calls. 14 voicemails. All from Tyler. Where are you? What did you do? You bitch, you emptied my accounts. Not a single message asking if I was okay. Not one. I blocked him. Then I opened my laptop and did what I'd prepared for months. 1. Froze his credit cards. 2. Disconnected my name from any joint leases or loans. 3. Emailed my lawyer to start the divorce process. 4. Filed my statement to HR about everything he did at his company, and CC'd the email I received from the whistleblower. I hit send. And then I breathed. It felt like lifting 1,000 bricks off my chest. Meanwhile, Tyler had nowhere to go. The house? Mine. I had quietly bought it in my name after discovering his affair 3 years ago. He never noticed the paperwork swap. The car? Gone. Repoed. I stopped making the payments he never cared about. His bank account? Frozen. His job? Gone. His reputation? Sinking fast. I'd taken back every piece of myself that I'd handed to him over the years. Piece by piece, day by day, I reclaimed my life. 2 weeks later, I received a letter in the mail. It was handwritten, messy, desperate. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I need you. I'm nothing without you. Please come back. I smiled softly. Because he was right about one thing. He was nothing without me. But I was finally everything I ever needed. On my own. Small orange diamond. It's been 18 months since I walked away from Tyler. 18 months since I stopped surviving and started living. I never returned to that city. I changed my number. Moved to a new town. Switched careers. And for the first time in years, I looked in the mirror and recognized the woman staring back. She wasn't broken. She wasn't bitter. She was rebuilt, stronger, softer, smarter. I opened my own business, something small, but mine. A creative space where women like me could heal, grow, thrive. I started writing again. Journaling. Speaking at events. Telling my story, not for revenge, but to give other women the permission to choose themselves. And guess what? People listened. Because pain, when told honestly, becomes power. As for Tyler, last I heard, he was living with a friend. No job. No car. No credit. And apparently, his wife ruined his life. That part made me laugh. I didn't ruin his life. I just took mine back. Sometimes, I still feel a pang of grief, not for losing him, but for losing the version of me that believed I had to shrink to be loved. But I don't grieve long. Because now I love someone new. Someone patient, kind, and real. Me. Small blue diamond. White heavy check mark.